Hi, everybody. This is Lee, and I'm talking about Claire Mccaskill in Missouri. She's a senator. Apparently, she's concerned about Bernie Sanders supporters. There's an article at Counterpunch that describes her concern. This is Clinton loyalist shifts right, begs Sanders supporters not to primary her. And so that was during a private fundraiser that Senator Claire Mccaskill, the Democratic senator from Missouri, asked Bernie Sanders supporters to join her reelection campaign in 2018. She says, quote, "All of you who are Bernie supporters, I need you. I want you. I want to talk to you. I want you to be part of our effort." That's what she said. So she's saying that we, meaning her and Bernie Sanders supporters, cannot get divided in a state like Missouri, or we're cooked. And my feeling is, no, you're cooked. That's my feeling. So she's concerned about the primary against her because she thinks that the Republicans want to return a favor. What the favor is, she thinks that the Republicans in Missouri will give a lot of money to her primary opponent. And that would be a favor they're returning to her because she did that, giving money to Todd Akin, who is an extreme conservative candidate, during the 2012 GOP primary. So she's afraid that the Republicans will do to her and support her primary opponent like she did to them and supporting their GOP primary opponent. And if that rings any bells, think very carefully. It's basically what Hillary Clinton did in 2016, supporting Donald Trump and then getting the most surprised look on her face when he beat her. So there's the judgment that you see right there. She's a Clinton loyalist. Basically, she uses Clinton talking points, Clinton strategy. She triangulates. She's a neoliberal. She's, here, here, here. Moving to the center, moving to the right, moving to the center, moving to be a centrist, a moderate, moving to vote for confirmations into Trump's cabinet, being described as one of the most reliable Democratic senators to oppose her own party. One of the most, not the most, but one of the most, that she can usually be counted on to do that. And so now, after all of that, she's worried. The fact that she endorsed Hillary Clinton for president in 2013, even before the primary started, or no, even before Hillary Clinton even declared her candidacy. Claire Mccaskill declared herself in Hillary Clinton's camp. That's how loyal she is. She's a Clintonista from way back. And so now she's worried that that might come back to harm her. And she's right to be worried. People have not forgotten the entire Clinton fiasco that Claire Mccaskill stayed loyal to Hillary Clinton through a lot of crap that Hillary Clinton pulled against Bernie Sanders, his campaign, and then Bernie Sanders supporters, confirming the false narrative of the chairs being thrown in Nevada when camera footage showed that not one chair was thrown. Claire Mccaskill was there to spread that around. And many other things. I'm going to leave a link to this article in the description, but I'm going to go on because I'm not going to leave it there. I'm going to leave another article link, Dismal in Des Moines. Democrats are part of what's the matter with Iowa. And the reason why I'm leaving that link, because there is yet something else that I want to remind people of, that the amount of fraud that occurred in the Democratic primary is often dismissed. Or overlooked, and that's despite the fact that during that DNC Fraud Lawsuit, the DNC basically came out and said, well, what did you expect us to do? Hillary Clinton was a longtime Democratic loyalist. Bernie Sanders was barely a Democrat, and now he's not any longer. And some of you knew that we were biased, and you still kept giving us money. So you're the one who's got the problem. It's your fault. And so they basically came out and admitted. And so the fact that no one stepped down from what was revealed by WikiLeaks about fraudulent activity, biased activity, rigging of the Democratic primary, some people still refuse to admit that that happened, saying that, well, it was Russia that, either rigged or actually was the one that showed us that it was rigged. And basically, from all quarters, there's just been no dispute, really, concrete dispute that there was no rigging. And so I'm going to go ahead and read this article, the Des Moines Register, about what happened during the Democratic caucus and show what Claire Mccaskill actually supported when she supported Hillary Clinton and how she's right to be worried. This is an editorial, Something Smells in the Democratic Party. This is from February 3rd, 2016, the very first caucus during the Democratic primary in 2016. Once again, the world is laughing at Iowa. Late-night comedians and social media mavens are having a field day with jokes about missing caucus goers and coin flips. What we cannot stomach is even the whiff of impropriety or error. What happened Monday night at the Democratic caucuses was a debacle. Period. Democracy, particularly at the local level, can be slow, messy, and obscure, but the refusal to undergo scrutiny or to allow for appeal reeks of autocracy. The Iowa Democratic Party must act quickly to assure the accuracy of the caucus results beyond a shadow of a doubt. The results were too close to call not to do a complete audit. Let's see. Second, too many questions have been raised. Too many accounts have arisen of inconsistent counts. Untrained and underwhelmed volunteers confuse voters. Cramped precinct locations, a lack of voter registration forms, and other problems. Too many of us, including members of the Register Editorial Board, who were observing caucuses, saw opportunities for error amid Monday night's chaos. Let's see. And so the Des Moines Register goes on to note a lot of problems that they saw at the Iowa caucuses. And then there's also C-SPAN footage capturing a miscount in operation at one of the caucuses at Roosevelt High School. That there was miscounting and that there was concerns raised, and then those concerns were dismissed. And then the count was certified. And so right out the gate, the count was off. This is what Claire Mccaskill supported and then continued to support throughout the rest of the primary season. And so now she's afraid those chickens are coming home to roost, and likely that they will. I've already notated multiple groups, progressive groups, who are running schools. They're recruiting candidates to challenge incumbents like Claire Mccaskill, who have not fulfilled the duties of their office in a way that was satisfactory to voters, that people have problems with her. And you know what? 32 years, that's 35 years, that's a good run in political office. But sometimes, you just look at your history and say, maybe I've done what I came to do and it's time to move on before you are escorted out. Claire Mccaskill, I think, has been in political office since 1982. And we come up to 2017 and we say, well, she did what she came to do. Maybe it's time for someone else to take her place. That things have gotten off track, that she's lost sight of why she took office in the first place, and people are being harmed. And so there is going to be a fight for that seat in Missouri. She is right to be concerned. There are going to be people gunning for that seat. She does not have an opponent now that has announced, but don't think people are not eyeballing that seat. They are. And being a woman is not going to save her. It didn't save Hillary Clinton. Having a lot of money or a war chest of money is not going to save her. That didn't save Hillary Clinton. What might save her is if she immediately, starting today, starts to vote progressively. If she adopts Bernie Sanders' platform and does what Bernie Sanders tells her to do, she might be able to save her seat. I don't know if she will. But anyway, who's gonna go for Claire McCaskill's seat? The list is long. Our Revolution is recruiting candidates, endorsing candidates, fundraising for candidates. The Draft Bernie Party, they're organizing. I think they'll be running candidates. The Green Party definitely has groups in Missouri that have candidates going in office now, and then also they're recruiting and they're voting for candidates, and so likely in 2018 they'll have candidates too. Progressive Independent Party, they're recruiting. Justice Democrats, brand new Congress. The Black is Back Coalition, they're running their 2-day school in St. Petersburg, Florida, April 8th and 9th. And then 3-Point Strategy, that's the group in Washington, D.C. that they're running candidates, including Black women who are progressive. They're training them, schooling them on how to run for office. And so that's on the left. Those are progressives on the left, either within the Democratic Party or outside the Democratic Party, that are going to be recruiting candidates to run for office. And then you've got the Centrist Project. I talked about them, that they want seats as well. And why wouldn't they go for a seat in Missouri? And then there's the Libertarians. They're on the ballot in Missouri, I believe. And they usually do run candidates in Missouri. And then the American Banking Association. They're running a candidate school. So Claire McCaskill may not even be able to appeal to Wall Street to save her, because the bankers are going to have their own candidates that they'll run. They don't need her. And so she's right to be concerned. On top of that, Missouri is an open primary state. That means that in the Democratic primary in Missouri, you do not have to be a Democrat in order to vote in the Democratic primary. Independents can vote in the Democratic primary. So I don't know what to say, Claire. Based on everything that we know, even within the past several years, if people have just started paying attention, they look at the things that you said throughout the Democratic primary against Bernie Sanders, against Bernie Sanders supporters, against the concept of being independent, the hostility that was shown to independent voters, and they are going to be voting in the Democratic primary. The concern is real, and again, there are women groups, female groups that are running candidates for office, and some of them will be running progressives, and so they'll be gunning for your seat too. So I don't know what to say, but good luck with that.